like I don't have a part. Sometimes I feel like I only this city I live in, the city of me. Lonely as I am, together we cry. I drive on the streets 'cause he's my companion. Walk through a hills 'cause close to mine. These my good deeds and kisses me windy. I never worry, that is
All rise. I said it. Listen to me. Welcome to, but do not become too comfortable in, the court of Judge Junior Miller. A man with more than 4 decades on the bench as a warded and legal guardian of justice and the concept of justice therein. With a tenure that has been characterized by a strident commitment to veracity and imbued with legal sensual aggression. The adjudicator, the arbiter, and the assessor. This court is now in session with the Honorable Judge Toons presiding. You may be seated.
Thank you, bailiff. All right.
Let the record show I clap.
All right, I'll allow that. This is the case of, let me see, what do we got here? TC Fleming versus Bob and Dan. Are all persons connected with this case present and prepared?
Well, actually, Junior, I don't feel entirely...
Judge Junior.
My apologies.
Honorable.
I believe I've earned that right.
I agree. Honorable Judge Junior, I don't feel entirely comfortable. I'm just an unfrozen caveman. I don't know that I can understand your legal proceedings. I'd like to retain representation if that's okay.
I'll allow it.
Let me go grab my lawyer.
Everybody has the right to representation. Now, while he's out of the room, I'll ask the other party, are you present and prepared?
Hey, how about we work out a deal here while he's gone?
Are you bribing me?
Oh!
I'm a bailiff and I carry a gun.
I knew it. I knew it.
Wow.
Let me present Brian Wilson, the Texas Law Hawk.
The Texas Law Hawk!
No shouting in my court, please.
Are you kidding me?
Amazing.
Man.
All right, Mr. Wilson, are you
I concede.
representing Mr. Fleming?
White flag, white flag. I'm just writing a check right now.
And are we doing opening arguments?
I think Junior's taking the lead
I believe
here.
I'll handle that. Thank you. Messrs. McDowell and Sturm, are you present and prepared? I will only ask that question one more time.
Present, sir.
Yes.
And are you retaining legal representation, or are you doing this yourself?
It appears we should have. We didn't know we were going against the Law Hawk.
Yeah,
but,
well, you wear a suit.
But I did wear a suit, at least, to cancel out his.
Let the record show that all parties in this case are present and prepared. As you know, my qualifications and character are unimpeachable, and I will expect you to go along with whatever decision this court makes. As a high-powered lawyer, I, of course, represented Mr. McDowell, as I mentioned earlier, held on retainer for a year by Mr. Fleming, so I believe I will be down the middle. All right, let's get on with this farce. I'd like to hear opening statements from each side. You have 1 minute to make your case, or until I get tired of listening to you. Bob and Dan, you go first.
All right. Well, I will say I hold you in the highest regard, and I apologize if I'm a little nervous, but
thank you.
I've been a big listener and a fan for years, so thanks very much.
I appreciate that.
I am perfectly willing to pay the money in this challenge, but I believe the terms perhaps have shifted. What we basically wanted was TC to catch the hog by himself. I'm very concerned he's going to be overly helped by a P1. I got many emails saying they would help. They were sent to me and him. And from what I understand now, he's employing the help of a P1 to use their trap, their truck, even a P1's land This is like taking your girlfriend to a lake that's stocked with trout, baiting the hook for her and helping her cast the line, to go out to some guy's farm where there's hogs running left and right and just basically throw a cage out there and say, okay, TC, you've caught the hog. And anything to add, Bob? I'm sorry.
I'm not familiar with hog law, Honorable Judge Jr., in these parts, but I am aware that Fred, the country boy P1, can definitely catch hogs. I'm curious if that man can actually do it.
Let the record show he was pointing at Mr. Fleming.
That man.
1
And
minute half expired.
And I would also suggest that
he's in charge of this court.
I have a gun.
That with regard to hog law, I'm not positive what sort of licenses and permits or whatever he would need to make sure that he has to also make this work, but that would be completely on him as part of this particular case. So if he does it individually, and if he secures all sorts to make sure we're not all in jail when the stunt ends, we will abide with your ruling, Honorable Judge Jr.
Mr. Wilson?
Thank you, Judge, and may it please the court. Let's talk about contract. Offer, acceptance, consideration, mutual agreement. The offer, trap a hog, bring it up here. Acceptance, I'll do it, let's go. Consideration, $1,000 times 2. And mutual agreement, here's where the issue is. Mutual agreement. I think what they're thinking is this going to be a girl fishing example, or is he going to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Predator out there with the knife between his teeth?
That's what we want.
That's what y'all want.
Mr. Stern.
I'm sorry.
But, and so what it turned out to be was he's a little bit smarter and found an easier way to trap a hog and pick it up.
Objection!
A bad bargain is still a bargain.
Sustained.
Your Honor. A bad bargain is still a bargain. So here is what our final statement is. If he brings that pig, you can't renege.
Something I'd like to submit to the court as evidence.
Sure, let's go ahead.
What now?
I would, bailiff,
Court would
I would like to refer to this as Exhibit A. Exhibit A.
Because earlier we heard audio from a segment that Dan had cut off, and I just want you to listen to this, which was notably absent.
We shall now hear Exhibit A.
You will have video of me starting with all the various disparate pieces, assembling the trap, baiting the trap, and then handling the hog. No one is going to touch the trap or the hog except for me in this process.
I'll do it, and I'm in for $1,000.
So that was in a segment that we all know that Dan listened to because he played other audio from the segment, and he notably chose to leave it out. So not only do I find it persuasive, I also find some nefarious action by my opponents here.
May I ask you something, Mr. Fleming?
Absolutely.
Why would he leave that piece of audio out when it seems to support his case that they want you to do this all by yourself? And in that piece of audio, it is you saying you will do it all by yourself.
Sustained?
This is still the deal that I offer them. A full video of me setting up the trap, escorting the hog into the trailer, and then bringing the trailer to them. That is my offer on the table, and they have said that if the trap is ever been used by anyone else, if the land the hog is on is someone else's land, then I'm in violation, when that is not what's laid out. I'm still offering a full video of me trapping the hog, and they're
Judge,
saying it's not good
approach
enough.
the bench, please.
Yes, you may.
What if we were to offer our own videographer? Not his video guy that could edit it in any way he wanted. We were able to actually acquire the person that would video this.
Let me ask my bailiff a question. If we were to get that kind of videographer, would I have to issue a writ of habeas corpus?
No, Judge, I will handle that, but I would like to vet that potential videographer before I handle that matter internally.
Sustained.
And we can accept those terms.
Okay. Mr. Fleming. I just wanted to say it with that cadence.
Sure, yeah.
But Mr. Fleming, let me ask you something. What kind of trap do you envision? Is the trap a part of a trailer on the back of a truck, or is the trap freestanding, and once the hog is in the trap, how do you then see yourself getting that trap into a truck by yourself?
That's a tricky question, one that I haven't totally worked out, but I see the trap as...
Because someone else is going to be doing it for him.
Mr. McDowell!
This is a sham!
Objection! Badgering the witness!
Silenced on this one.
Mr. McDowell, one more outburst, and I will hold you in contempt of court. The question was for Mr. Fleming. Please answer.
As far as what the trap looks like, I think it's a bit of a fence, more or less, a fenced area that then with an opening that when the hog walks in, it trips a tripwire and the opening closes behind him, so he's kind of in this fenced area. So I'm kind of hoping that you just sort of back the trailer up and open the trailer door and then open the thing, and the hog will just run in on its own accord. But, certainly that is a process I fully intend to handle myself due to my strong personal integrity.
Your Honor?
He will back up the truck himself.
Your Honor, if it pleases the court, I would just like to enter into this. The idea of there is such a thing as physical assistance. There's also intellectual assistance that concerns us on some level if he is receiving coaching or if he has some sort of intellectual agreement with the hog or if the hog has been, say, drugged or investigated or perhaps is a very human-friendly hog. All will be outside the
We are cartoonimous. Citizens of Dropville, be advised. You are watching a coordinated propaganda television event from the so-called Court of Judge Junior, the Junes, Miller. We are cartoonimous. We expose all propaganda. The efforts of this court to corner one, TC Fleming, into an agreement outside the bounds of fair play, in capturing a feral suscrofer. Although feral suscrofer are a growing problem on the southern prairies of the United States, we feel that the trapping and release of the animal, for the pleasure of gaming, was forced upon TC Fleming by those seeking to defame him. We are cartoonimous. We will align and protect the great TC Fleming. Those seeking to defame TC Fleming will be exposed. Those seeking to renege on the agreement will be exposed. Those who lose and refuse to pay will be dealt with. We are cartoonimous. We are TC. Aggressive is our power. Aggressive is our strength. Aggressive is our creed. We are cartoonimous. We are aggressiveness. We are tracking the progress of this mock trial. We will intervene, if the powers that be alter the scales of fairness away from one, TC Fleming. We are cartoonimous. We do not like the altering scales.
Mr. Stern, how do you think we can police that kind of intellectual assistance?
If a P1 emails me and tells me that they've got some land in a truck and I can get some assistance in how to do it, then I can catch a hog. I don't know that we'd have been so quick to throw out a large sum of money if that was the terms of the bet.
To clarify, no pigs will be drugged, Your Honor, to clarify these ludicrous allegations.
And really anyone communicating with him or strategizing with him or saying over here where the hogs enjoy a nice spa, that would be outside the good faith agreement of our mutual agreement. That's redundant, but that's what I meant.
The bet that I made with them, that was very clearly stated, didn't include any of these things. So I can understand why they want these stipulations in. I just don't understand why a reasonable person would allow them to add them in after the fact.
Judge, it is time for a ruling.
I'm prepared to make a ruling.
Wow.
Does anybody have any more evidence they would like to introduce into the case?
I'd just like to say that we have fully proved, Your Honor, that if he traps that boar, then they've lost that war.
Gosh, this guy's good.
Thank you, Mr. Lawhawk.
This is not fair.
Is that your closing argument?
That's our closing argument.
Mr. Stern, Mr. McDowell, do you have a closing argument?
I've just always been a real big fan of your work.
Hey, man, I appreciate that.
Kind of have to second that. I wanted to come up with a closing argument, but I'm just so starstruck right now. But
and of all the
whatever you say is great.
Keep yourself in unbelievable shape. How do you do it?
Well, yeah, I don't want to get into that right now, but all right, I am ready to rule if all parties have completed their testimony, have submitted all evidence. The most compelling bit of evidence in this case that I've heard is the audio that has been played and the lines uttered by TC. I can catch a hog, period. Trap it, period. That was his claim. And we have actual evidence of that claim. Bob and Dan, quote, $1,000 from each of us if you trap one and bring it in alive. That's what I'm working with. You both have made compelling arguments concerning the nuances of the case. In my opinion, and it is also the opinion of this court, Thomas Charles TC Fleming will be given the opportunity to trap a hog and bring it up here alive. The conditions of this are: TC must trap the hog on his own. He can receive no outside help other than the delivery of said hog trap to TC's home or work address. Mr. Fleming, you'll have to take it from there. In your own vehicle or one that you rent or borrow, but you have to take the trap from your home address or here, and you have to load it into the truck, and you have to drive to an area to trap the hog in accordance with Department of Wildlife Management guidelines. So you can't just trap one somewhere illegally. It's got to be in accordance with the law that this court respects. Thank you. So you will have to also set the trap, build the trap if necessary, set the trap, catch the hog, and then load the hog into said vehicle, transport it here by yourself with no outside help. Regarding the delivery of said hog here, TC must transport the hog to at least curbside. You don't have to bring it up because I don't think that's legal. You just have to bring it curbside at least, and you'd be able to see it with the wireless and whatnot. And you also need to, when you transport it here, be in accordance with Department of Wildlife Management guidelines and whatever PETA thinks is humane, a humane way of transporting the hog. In other words, don't just put that beast on a leash and walk him up here. In order to ensure that TC follows the guidelines set forth by this highly respected court, I will appoint a neutral third party to observe and record TC's every move during this process. The neutral third party must have obtained Ticket Tier 4 status or better to be eligible. I am giving TC until next Friday, March 17th by 2:30 p.m. to present a live hog to Bob and or Dan. That gives you 1 week, sir. In the event that TC presents said hog to Bob and Dan, the court rules that Bob and Dan will each pay TC $1,000 for the effort. The evidence shows that it was Bob and Dan that brought up payment for the hog, and so I rule that you will owe $1,000 each to Mr. Fleming. This court has ruled, and this ruling is final, unless you guys can make an argument for any reason I need to change it. If any terms of this ruling are violated, said violating parties will be held in contempt of court. Is the time frame a problem?
I just knew already he had issues with the next couple of weeks.
What time frame would work?
Like that,
what reasonable time frame would work?
I'd be happy to give him 3 weeks or whatever he asked for here, actually.
I agree.
Couple months.
Whoa,
2 months.
Whoa.
I'd like to do it a week from now.
Hold on. Let me ask
How about 1
Mr.
month?
Fleming, why can't you do it in, let's say, the next 2 weeks?
Because this weekend, my folks are buying a boat. I'd like to tear up the lake if it's okay with y'all. And next weekend, it's my young
I've
nephew's
been on a boat at
second
night.
birthday party.
Mr. Fleming, my original ruling was 1 week. I will give you 2 weeks to do this. If you really want that money, then you can take a few hours away from your parents' boat or a few hours away from your nephew's birthday party. I will not give you 2 months. You have 2 weeks.
Can we get 3? We were talking about
2 weeks.
3.
No, you have 2 weeks. that is, it's almost offensive to the court that you would ask for more time because of those reasons. If you had jury duty, or you were
tear up the leg,
or you had a
I was saying I
surgery,
would do it last week, and they told me to delay it.
in here.
Lawhawk.
you have 2 weeks.
He knows he doesn't have a leg to stand on.
This is why generally you want your lawyer to speak for you. Just for future reference. Can we give him 3 weeks so he can go tear up the leg, have his nephew birthday party, and additionally also have an opportunity to really get hurt by this boar, and not just
Judge, if
2
it
weeks
pleases,
lapse by.
Judge, if it pleases the court, 3 weeks from today would be the final day of the month of March. I'm not necessarily arguing against myself here, but the symmetry of the remainder of the month of March would be okay with the defense. Or are we the prosecution?
I find it utterly ridiculous that he needs longer than 2 weeks, but if Bob and Dan insist that 3 weeks is fine with them, I will allow 3 weeks.
Boy, the going out with
Thank
your
you, Judge.
parents on their boat.
He's so fair.
You'll never have another chance to do that, will you?
All you
And
guys
you have to go Saturday and Sunday?
All you guys had to do.
Why can't you go?
All you had to do was object to his ridiculous reasons,
I
and I
know.
would have ruled harshly. But
Yeah.
if the opposing party is okay with it, then I have no other choice.
I'm blinded by the law hawk.
Harsh but fair, yes.
All right,
We want our pictures
3
with the
weeks
Lawhawk.
from
Voting
today.
time.
3 weeks from today, 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon, he must present the hog by.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's a blessing to have been in your presence, Your Honor.
Court is
Yes, Your
adjourned.
Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
What's so great about that?